Thursday, August 17th, and this is Geeknights. Tonight we talk about hacking, but not the kind of hacking you might expect. For tonight, we hacked the Wildwood, New Jersey Boardwalk.
Let's do this.
Well, Geeknights fans, you're in luck. Tonight is probably the last episode where I will not have a pop filter.
It's also going to be one hell of an entertaining episode if we know what people have liked in the past.
Yes, because we have done not one, but two stupid things.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
But before that, because all of you, really seem to like it, we have to do the news and the thing of the day and all that other stuff. But bear in mind that at every moment while we are speaking about these other mundane, real-world issues, we are just trying to hold back the torrent of awesome that is about to follow.
We are barely containing the absolutely hysterical and crazy main bit for this episode. And you know what? It's kind of weird because the main bit for this episode is in the same style as the things that people have greatly enjoyed in the past. However, all of those times in the past when people have greatly enjoyed an episode, we said this episode is going to suck. And now we're saying this episode is going to rock. So let's see what happens.
In the very least, even if the episode might end up being meh for whatever reason, the things we did will speak for themselves. They're the kinds of things that if we were not the ones doing them, they would be things of the day.
They would be indeed.
Now, I believe Scott wanted to do a whole bunch of meta bits since we do have not a shit ton, but a good deal of new listeners from Otakon.
Oh, all right. So for anyone out there, Geeknights is a podcast. And,
Yeah.
And we do 4 episodes a week. So if you happen to subscribe to Geeknights Thursdays, guess what? There are also Geeknights Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And let's see, what else do we have to tell them? We have a forum that's really awesome.
Yeah, the forum has people who may or may not actually even listen to the show at this point.
Yeah, and if you go there, there are cool people talking about stuff.
Also, surprisingly, the forum comes up near the top on Google for a whole lot of really interesting search queries.
And also, we have a Frapper map. If you go to frontrowcrew.com, which is our website, frontrowcrew.com, in the bottom right, there's a little Frapper link. And if you click on it, it brings you to this Google map. And on the Google map, you can put a pin on the map to show where you are. And that way, we can see where all the listeners are. And it's pretty cool for anyone to look at.
But anyway, that's probably a good enough amount of that for now, since somewhat soon, as soon as we get new microphones and everything, and we finish updating the website, we're going to redo the closer and put all of that updated information in there so we never have to say this again when we get new listeners.
Hooray!
So without further ado, what you've all been waiting for, the news.
But that's not what they're waiting for. They're waiting for the mystery main bit.
No, because according to that thing we did trying to figure out what people like about the show, the primary thing they like is the news and the things of the day.
Oh, okay. Well, here comes the news and the things of the day.
All right, you want to go first? What do you got?
My news
Since
today,
you wouldn't tell me what your goddamn news was.
It's the Main Mutant. Apparently, I'm going to paraphrase this entire story because to go over all the details would take too long. In parts of Maine, there is a legend of some sort of monster that...
Wait a minute. Is this that mutt dog with the deformed skull that someone ran over?
Yep.
That was on Fark a while ago.
Yep.
Okay. Now I know exactly what you're talking about. But go on anyway, because it's actually kind of interesting.
Yep. And, of course, everyone who is in the same camp as us was like, cryptozoology, that's all bullshit. There's no Bigfoot. There's no Maine monster. There's no Loch Ness monster. It's just a bunch of crap. And, this thing had, been attributed to, chasing down a few dogs and, it killed a Doberman or something.
That's, Doberman will fight. That's quite a achievement.
Yeah. And whatever.
I mean, I couldn't kill a Doberman with my bare hands.
No, so there was this legend of, this Maine monster that was, this horrible mutant deformed dog that did all sorts of bad things. And, it was just a legend. And recently, I don't know, in the past few weeks, someone was driving their car, and his cat ran across the road, and this mutant dog was chasing it, and they hit it with their car. And a bunch of people went to look at it, and there's a couple of pictures. I think on Fox News there was some pictures.
Yeah, the pictures are a little misleading. It probably doesn't look quite that freaky because those pictures were post being run over by a car and rotting for a little while.
Yeah, it's pretty much a slightly strange-looking dog that's rotting, and I think there were some pictures on another site that showed that it had weird claws that went up. It was kind of strange.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have said that part of the picture might just be an illusion.
No. I'll show it to you.
I only saw one picture on Fark, and I
Okay.
saw it for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, the claws going up, the extra claws that aren't natural for dogs to have, is definitely not an illusion.
Uh-huh.
So it's probably just some sort of strange dog, whatever. Some cryptozoologist went to look at it, and he said that it was probably a chow that had turned feral. Whatever.
Yeah, there was actually a long discussion on Fark as to what breeds of dog were probably mixed in there.
Yeah, it had a slight genetic whatnot, and it was a crazy, feral, wild animal.
Well, I do remember when I was in Michigan in high school in Sterling Heights, there was a bit of a brouhaha when a liger got loose and was roaming around.
A liger?
Yes, a real liger got
Okay,
loose.
wait. A liger?
It was bred for its skills in magic.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
And I remember when I heard that on the news, and the first thing I thought was, there's no such thing as a liger. What
That's
the hell?
what I thought.
And then I looked online, and I found all this information on ligers and their magical powers.
Here's the thing about ligers I don't understand.
Don't forget Tigons. They also exist.
Yeah. But if you're a lion, right? Wouldn't you want to do the hot lion temptresses and not the tiger temptresses?
I don't know. I always thought tigers were generally better looking than lions.
You know what? I think there's only one way to find this out, actually, is we have to find some lion furries and ask them if they're into the tiger furries and vice versa.
I think that's a good way to approach this.
Yep. So get right on that.
It's no smoldering cheetah temptress, but
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
yeah.
Of course, how can there's no cheetons or titas?
Because the cheetah gets away.
Oh, da-dum-ching.
I guess tigers went out because they have the nice stripes. I mean,
some of them.
Lions are generally kind of bland looking, at least the females. They don't have those big manes.
Didn't we see like a Google video of a tiger clawing some guy?
Yes, we did. So there were some idiot hunters on an elephant, and they're throwing sticks at this tiger, and this tiger is not happy, so it jumps up and kills them all.
Awesome. Okay.
All right, yeah. So my thing of the day is somewhat very...
You mean your news?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, newses. Right. My news
I know my news seems somewhat thing of the day-ish.
It is thing of the day-ish.
Okay.
I got off track a little here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my news is actually somewhat depressing and sad, though it's really par for the course for this company. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Macrovision, it is one of the earliest forms of, well, I'd say DRM, but it's really ARM because it's analog. I'm not going to explain how DRM works, and I'm not going to explain how Macrovision works. But suffice to say, Macrovision is a method of protecting things like VHS tapes, where if you try to copy them, devices like VCRs all have a thing that will react to the macrovision that is in the signal and totally ruin the copy you're trying to make.
If you plug two VCRs into each other and try to copy a tape from one to the other, Macrovision will stop you.
Yes. You also run into this problem as a side effect if you try to plug a DVD player into a VCR, because most people, when DVD players came out, didn't have RCA or component inputs into their TVs. But they had VCRs, which did. So what they did is most people tried to use their VCR as a RF modulator, which would have worked perfectly, except for the fact that Macrovision, for a completely arbitrary reason, blocks that and makes your DVD fade in and out and in and out.
Yep, because they don't want you to take your DVD and record it onto a VHS tape. So
yeah, because there was such a trade in VHS rips of DVDs.
I know there was gonna be.
I mean, VHS is so high quality.
So the news about Macrovision, the evil fuckers, is...
Well, to put it very briefly, a company, well, there have been a lot of companies, but this one company in particular, have made machines and methods of taking old VHS tapes and digitizing them in order to archive the footage and record whatever video was in this old, failing analog format.
There are many people who are in that business, and all you really need is a computer with a card, like an Aver or an ATI, whatever.
Macrovision, like the planet of the moles in Futurama, was firing lawsuits everywhere about this. They do not want anyone to be able to crack Macrovision or in any way circumvent it in order to get data off of old analog tapes.
But what if I have my home movies on old analog tapes and I want to put them on my computer?
Well, the thing is, your
With
home movies probably don't have Macrovision in them.
That is true. However,
in general, the best part about this is that they were trying to sue everyone under the DMCA. The DMCA. Digital. It is not a digital rights management. It is an analog rights management. The law does not apply in any way because there is no digital mechanism whatsoever protecting the data. Good God. I almost ran out of breath there.
wow, that is true.
The thing is, it's not just the issue that Macrovision is being kind of evil and trying to manhandle the laws into protecting their crappy ARM that doesn't even really work so well. I mean, it's trivially circumvented. But more so than that, Macrovision has, in general, for as long as it has existed, been one of the most evil entities out there in the world.
This is basically a company that has made a product, and then they make a law that says anyone who is in this business must purchase our product and become our customer. I mean, and they make another law that says we can never go out of business. We must always get money. I mean, what the hell? I mean, what if McDonald's said everyone must eat at McDonald's when they want a hamburger, and if McDonald's doesn't make enough money, then, people have to pay McDonald's to keep it in business. You don't make laws like that. That's so far from what capitalism is. It's insane. I mean, that's even worse than communism.
Now, luckily, some good news here is that while they originally won their case pretty much, the injunction that was put in place is now being reviewed, and a whole number of organizations, including, among other people, the wonderful EFF,
of course,
are right there, and I have a feeling that the judges aren't going to be stupid and Macrovision is going to die in a fire.
If I was like the FCC or whoever can do whatever about this, I would just say Macrovision, everyone in charge of Macrovision goes to jail and the company's gone. Goodbye.
No, I wouldn't put him in jail.
Yeah, I would.
No, I just make their company go away.
Nah, I'd put him in jail.
Why would you? But we have enough. We rail against the prison industrial complex constantly. We hate jails.
That's the point. Is like, because most of the people put in jail don't need to go to jail. But the thing is, if you take the heads of Macrovision, who are probably these rich assholes, who are just evil, and you put them in jail, you'd only have to put them in there for like a month. And it had to be a real jail. None of this, jail with no fences country club crap,
there aren't so many of those. It's not really that way. The media really...
The governor of Connecticut went to one. I saw it.
Yeah, but the media always makes it out like those minimum security prisons aren't so bad, and... They really are kind of bad because you're still trapped in there with a lot of really terrible people.
But you're not being raped in the ass. You have to send them to a prison where you get raped in the ass.
I'm generally against this whole people being raped in the ass in prison business.
I'm for it as long as I'm not in prison.
Well, here's the thing. The prison industry proves a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, look, we can't keep guns.
Let's not do an episode about prison.
All right.
The point is the Macrovision people are bad and I want them to be harmed.
Well, how about they just die in a fire?
That works, but can they be raped in the ass before they die in a fire?
I mean, I've run afoul of Macrovision so many times, and the thing is, the vast majority of those times, I was not even trying to break the law.
Yeah, most of the time we were just trying to watch a DVD on an old television through a VCR, and they would fade dark and light, and it was just annoying.
Things of the day.
Of today.
Oh, wow, you didn't say thingy.
I know, I tried to change it up.
Wow, good for you.
Yep.
All right, my thing of the day, I had something else, and it was some old thing that was actually kind of cool, but I had to change it up because Scott showed me something, and then I remembered that today is pretty much the beginning of all the premieres for probably our favorite movie of the year, Snakes on a Motherfucking Plane.
Motherfucker.
Now,
oh my God.
This is actually quite hilarious. It is Samuel L. Jackson appearing on The Daily Show talking about soap.
Yeah, that's actually worth, it's like, I'm not going to pay to see this movie, just because of what they've done. I'm not going to support it with monies.
See, here's the thing.
However, I enjoy the craziness that's going around.
I support it for one reason and one reason alone. Because originally, I've told the story of Snakes on a Plane before, because for anyone who isn't hip to the internet, This snakes on a plane thing may seem like it's new, like it's been exploding for the past few months. I don't think you all realize just how long this movie has been known about and made fun of on FARC.
Years.
I mean, to the point that the line, snakes on a motherfucking plane, and goddamn, the origin of that was not in the movie originally. It can very likely be traced to some of the early Photoshops when people heard about the title of this movie and then they heard that Samuel L. Jackson was going to be in it and they started making fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Samuel L. Jackson and the people who were doing this movie recognized that the internet had found their movie and liked it and took
it was
the joke.
hard not to recognize it.
Yes,
You'd
it
have to
was.
literally be not on the internet to know about snakes on a...
Well, no, I mean, because the thing is, a lot of this came after the fact. They had to have been reading FARC or knew people who read FARC or possibly like 4chan.
I imagine they were doing it, just
Something
going along
awful.
casually, and then someone noticed, and one guy came along and he's like, hey guys, check this shit out.
Yeah, probably some intern was like, all right, guys, I was on FARC.
And they probably went, oh shits, wait a minute. And then $sign showed up in the eyeballs.
But the fact that they took all the advice of the internet and they basically made the movie the internet wanted. We're going to find out if the movies that the internet wants are movies that the internet actually wants.
You know what's coming soon? Goatse the movie.
Goatse is not a movie. Goatse is, if anything, the flag of the internet.
I agree.
Well, we have much to say about Goatse.
We do indeed.
But first, anyway, if you have any chance at all, I highly recommend you watch this video of Samuel L. Jackson. Because,
It's probably just as good as watching Snakes on a Plane, the movie.
well, the thing is, Sam is really a funny guy, and I always enjoy watching interviews with him.
Yep, he's cool. All right, my thing of the day.
Now, you refused to tell me what your thing of the day was.
Oh, it's awesome. It's called Just One Club Card. What this is you have club cards, right? I got the ShopRite one.
Wait a minute. Is this the guy who copied his barcode, put it on the internet, and told everyone to use it?
No.
Okay.
And you got the Stop and Shop one, right?
Yeah.
And I think, a bunch of places have
I
club
have the
cards.
Viscount Liquor one.
Yeah, well, that
I have a Dominic's card.
there's a Dominic's is a possibility.
No, you know why I have a Dominic's?
Mm.
Because when I went to Anime Central the first time, which was, that was like 2002, we threw that party. And we drove around Chicago looking for a grocery store to buy mixers for the non-alcoholic bar we were going to run in the room because the room had a full bar in it. And we found a Dominic's, and Scott Johnson got a Dominic's card, and then he gave it to me so he wouldn't lose it. And then the next year, when we went back to Chicago, we went to the same Dominic's and used it again.
Yeah, well, if you're like me and you have a Jimmy wallet or you have some wallet that can't hold a lot of cards or you hate having all that shit hanging on your keychain, one for every possible place, there's a website where you can choose up to 8 different cards from 8 different places or 8 of the same place if you like that, and you type in the number under your barcode for each of those places, and it will allow you to print out one card with 8 barcodes on it.
Ooh.
And it supports a lot of places. I mean, A&P, Albertsons, Bi-Lo.
Well, the thing is,
Markets,
it's not like
Best
barcodes
Buy.
are at least one-dimensional barcodes are not terribly difficult to reverse engineer.
Yeah, Stop and Shop, Staples, PetSmart, Petco,
Now, you realize
Pathmark,
the
Office Max.
the next step of this is to make a small website where people can publish, much like Bug Me Not, numbers from their cards.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can totally randomize everything and completely ruin this entire tiny industry.
I agree. But yeah, this is just awesome because now if your wallet is full of these club cards, one for every store, and you just have them to get.
You know what? Forget the website. We're going to do that in the forums. I'm going to post all my discount card numbers, and Scott will do the same, and we urge all of you to do this as well.
Yeah, and that way, if anyone needs a discount card, instead of signing up for it, you just go to this Just One Club Card website, type in someone else's club card number, and print out a working barcode card.
Yeah, and it's not like
And you have one card. You can decrease the number of cards you have in your wallet by a factor of 8.
And it's not like this can be used to hurt anyone because there's no way you can. I mean, it's just information about what you buy.
Yeah,
it's not like
these
can
aren't
scam you.
these aren't credit cards. These are discount cards. I mean, we're not even talking about reward cards here. I mean, well, I think some of them might be reward cards. but
Whatever.
yeah, these are mostly discount cards. Like if you have the card, you get a discount. If you don't, you don't. And it's, generally sort of I mean, you can sign up for one of these things with fake information and they'll give it to you.
Yeah, in fact, the Wegmans card, or no, the Stop and Shop card that I used for a number of years and I still have, is one that I found on the ground outside of a Stop and Shop once.
Yep.
The ShopRite one, Scott got semi-legitimately. The Wegmans one, I used a fake ID.
Yeah, the other advantage of this is, like I have a ShopRite card and Rim has a Stop and Shop one. Now we both have both because we're both going to print it out.
Great.
And if someone looks at you funny for taking a little piece of paper and waving it over the barcode thing, you just give them the finger. If it beeps, it beeps. Fuck
Yep.
it. So this is way cool. Way cool.
So you know what? All of you go to the forums and post your information, and we are going to make something awesome.
Yep. Cool.
All right. I don't think we can contain it anymore. It is time to talk about...
Let's get on with it.
I think before we describe exactly what we did and the events that went down in Wildwood, New Jersey, we should describe...
We have to talk about our new motto.
All right. I will tell the story of the motto, and then Scott can describe what kind of place Wildwood, New Jersey is, because that is critical for the story that is about to be told.
Extremely critical.
Now, our good friend Yuko, who she does a webcomic, and she's a wonderful artist, and she hung out with us along with all of our other friends during what we call the Week of Awesome. Every year, the Front Row crew gets together, and for an entire week...
She bought the hobo wine.
Yes, she did. For an entire week after Otakon, we all congregate somewhere, often Wildwood, and generally do things together and make an awesome week of it. It's like our annual homecoming. Now, Yuko stayed at RIT along with our good friend Conrad and a bunch of other people. And Colbad. And we had all graduated. And they were on the e-board of the RIT Anime Club. And one day, they were in one of the meetings, and Yuko apparently drew on a little piece of paper a little note with a doodle on it, and the words on this note were, "Hey Conrad, let's do dumb shit after this." Now, this was hilarious. The note was hilarious, and the words, "let's do dumb shit after this," which has been shortened somewhat to "let's do dumb shit," has recently caught on as the new logo and catchphrase of the Front Row crew.
It's a motto, not a logo.
Yeah, motto.
Yeah, let's do dumb shit, everybody. It's like we used to freak some squares. That was the thing we used to do before, is freak the squares. Now, let's just do dumb shit.
Yeah, basically, we use this term to refer to the things we do that typically become funny stories later.
Yeah, things that would have been previously referred to as freaking squares.
Or possibly having a vision.
Oh, my vision. I have this vision.
I have a vision of us doing dumb shit.
I have a vision. It might freak squares, and we'll do dumb shit, okay?
Yeah, we'll tell the I have a vision story someday.
That's an okay story.
Did we ever tell the bamboo story that goes along with it?
No.
Good God.
All right, that's no.
All right, that's a different episode. Someone remind us to talk about the bamboo.
The bamboo and the vision will be an episode together. Put that in the forum thingy.
I have a vision of bamboo.
Ah, bamboo visions.
Good God, that was one of the worst days of my life.
So, Wildwood, New Jersey. Wildwood, New Jersey is basically a beach, a public beach. That means anyone who wants to, for no money, can go and sit on the sand in the sun and go in the Atlantic Ocean and get wet. And play with crabs and get crabbed and,
jellyfished.
And dig in the sand and all that good stuff.
Buy a fudgy wudgy.
Yep, there's a guy walking with ice cream, but you need to pay him. That's not free. It's also incredibly touristy, as public beaches want to be.
Now, attached to the beach is one of the biggest old-school boardwalks around.
Yes, it is a long boardwalk with many piers that don't really jut out into the water. They jut out into the sand.
Now,
the boardwalk is sort of far back from the actual water.
For anyone, boardwalks are really a thing that only exist on ocean coasts.
In New Jersey.
Yeah. No, there are a bunch of boardwalks out west, too.
There are, but they're big in New Jersey.
Yeah, they're real
big. New Jersey
big.
is like the boardwalk state.
And they're really not that common in the world as a whole.
Nope.
And they're kind of going out of style. But basically, you have a beach, and then someone builds piers, for ships, and they go out. But instead of having ships go on those piers, they put buildings on those piers. And then the boardwalk, which is literally a boardwalk. It's a whole bunch of boards held up like a deck. And then they put shops and arcades and things all along it, or casinos or whatever.
Yep. So the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey is the schlockiest place on earth. If you're looking for touristy dreck, carny games, arcades, any of that sort of shit, greasy food and funnel cake.
$1 pizza.
$1 pizza slices. This is the place to go. I mean, if you want a cheap t-shirt, if you want like a $1 bathing suit.
If you want a snow globe with a picture of a duck in it.
Yeah, if you want like a bootleg, dollar store F1 car where all the names on it are changed. This is the place.
I mean, I don't want to say it's low class, but it's pretty low class in general.
I'm quite lowbrow.
Granted, we love Wildwood.
Oh, it's so great.
In addition to having all this stuff, which is just hilarious to see, it has probably one of the last bastions of true arcade culture in this entire country.
Indeed.
Wildwood has some of the best arcades I've been to in a decade.
3 DDR Supernovas right next to a DDR 7th mix, a In the Groove 2, and 2 air hockey machines.
2 regulation air hockey machines.
Yeah, photons, bitches.
Yeah, so Wildwood is our arcade capital, where we go every year to play arcade games.
Now, you might imagine that much of the Boardwalk is not arcades, and therefore, what do we care? In fact, to most geeks, it would be painful. You see carny games. You see food that, while tasty and most geeks will eat it, you can't eat too much of it or you'll die.
Yeah.
And you see like schlocky t-shirt places selling t-shirts that say really, really dumb shit on them.
Yeah, like, God, what was that one? There was this one shirt. It was big and black, and it said, like, Master of the Game in, like, 4 different fonts. And it had this big bulldog, and the bulldog was biting through a football.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of crap.
Like, really cheap crap t-shirts and stuff. So, that stuff is generally non-interesting and even off-putting to most geeks.
Well, except the first time you go to a place like that.
Oh, yeah, the
first
time
you're just overwhelmed. It's like this crazy carnival of color and lights, and you can barely keep your senses about you.
But if you go there, for many, many years, year after year, and you stay there for many, many days, like an entire week, I mean, people barely spend a day there usually, a weekend if they're lucky. We spend a week there.
I once lived there for about a month.
Yeah, so eventually you see through that, and it just becomes like, it's a boardwalk, whatever.
Yeah, so other than playing DDR, we had grown somewhat tired with the boardwalk.
Yeah, there are go-karts there, which are also cool.
I mean, every year we'd walk the length of it to show the new people we brought, but other than that...
Yeah. So, this year, we finally figured out how to breathe new life into this carny, sort of dreck schlock, crappy boardwalk.
The answer is hacking.
Yes.
Now,
not computer hacking, but hacking the boardwalk.
I mean, hacking is a really generic term. I mean, social engineering is really just people hacking.
Yep.
At RIT, we always tried to do elevator hacking.
And we always failed.
Yeah. Now, in Wildwood, there are a number of ways that we've learned, and we had so many ideas, we only had the chance to undertake 2 of them.
Yep. Well, now, the idea of hacking in general is to take something and to sort of repurpose or enhance it. Like, if you find a way to use your cell phone to also open the door to your house and remote control your television, that's hacking, So we're going to, or we did, attempt and succeed to take the schlocky dreck shit on the boardwalk and repurpose it into awesome.
So, the question now is, which of the 2 stories do we tell first? The best t-shirt in the world or the best food in the world?
I think the best t-shirt in the world has to come first because it came first chronologically.
All right. So, at one point, we were walking past, the whole front row crew, for the most part, was walking past this one shop, and we see a sign.
Wait. There are many, many stores on the boardwalk that sell cheap t-shirts, and this was one of them.
Now, this one stood out to us in a way that none had ever had before, and it was definitely a recent development.
Yes, there was an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper poorly clipped on to one of their t-shirt displays, and on it, in plain black text, was printed the words, "Any band you want." And next to it was another one that said, "Any wrestler you want." And I said, all right, they probably have every wrestler, but there has to be some obscure-ass band that they don't have a t-shirt for.
And the t-shirts were fairly high quality. They were definitely a couple steps up from just an iron-on.
Yep. And I said, all right, either, immediately, after about a minute of thinking about it, I'm like, okay, either they're false advertising and we're going to pun them, or they have some sort of, they can print t-shirts from computer images device.
Yeah, so we basically realized that they were either going to be completely stupid and false advertising, or they were doing something illegal. And we decided that either way, this was going to be hilarious.
So we go into the store, and I asked my friend Pete, I said, hey, think of the most obscure band you can think of. And he calls his brother, who knows even more obscure bands. And they come up with the band Nihilist Spasm Band. And I'm like, okay, let's go in. And Pete asked them, can we have a t-shirt for Nihilist Spasm Band? And they get to work on their computer. And I'm like, okay, are they using Google Images? What are they doing? And eventually this girl turns around with a pretty poor image of the Nihilist Spasm Band logo. And we go, oh, it's Google Images. Okay, all right.
So we told the people, you know what you're doing is illegal. Not that we care, but you're totally breaking the law. And we walked out laughing.
Yeah, we're just like, yeah, we just wanted to see how you did it, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And we walked out laughing, and they were kind of whatever. And that was that.
Now, later on that evening, we were playing DDR and playing games in the house, and an idea started to ferment.
Uh-oh.
An idea.
Fermentation produces poison.
Because we started thinking, wait a minute, so they can make a t-shirt of anything. Huh. By the same token, we can tell them a word, and they will look up a picture of that word, and there is no way they will avoid seeing that picture.
Goatse.
Goatse. Goatse.
We figured we would walk into the store, say, can we have a Goatse shirt? Yeah. And they would see Goatse and go, oh God, and we'd laugh and walk out.
And then our friend Pete goes one step further and says, why don't we actually get a Goatse t-shirt?
Oh my God.
Brilliant. Now,
genius.
Now we're sitting there and we're just awed by this idea because nothing would please me more in the world than to wear on my chest proudly a picture of a man stretching his own anus apart.
I mean, we've taken what was 5 minutes ago a Dreck Schlock store that no geek would care about, and only stupid, American consumer tourists on vacation would even consider spending money at, and turned it into an amazing pool of potential awesome.
Now,
Goatse awesome.
The final step came when, and I'm not going to be modest about this, I had a stroke of genius, and I said the words, we should put the First Amendment in text on this shirt.
And we said, holy shit, that is absolutely right.
So the t-shirt we envision now is Goatse, and then the First Amendment in text around it.
In big black letters. And we're like, oh, that would be the best t-shirt ever. Oh my God, amazing.
And Pete says, I'll do it.
We'll do it. We went to the t-shirt place that night. And we said, all right. And as soon as we walked in, the girl recognized us. And she's like, oh, no. You guys are here before. You're not going to do the same trick again. And we're like, no, we're serious. We want a shirt. Really? And she's like, really? Really? So we go in, and we're like, okay, guys, Goatse. And we had to instruct them how to turn off their filter on Google Images.
Now, the other thing is the fact that they didn't immediately recognize the word Goatse means that they are not technology savvy people.
No, they were not. We had to find the image. I had to guide them to Wikipedia, and then from there guide them to the mirror of Goatse. I
mean, regardless of your feelings for the actual image, which is pretty horrific, I'm not going to say it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
That is an iconic thing at this point. Goatse is like this legendary piece of the internet, and whether you like it or not, that is a part of our human history.
Yes, it is. I mean, if you've never seen it before, it's quite horrific, but once you've seen it 1,000 times, it's just nothing. It's just, look, it's Goatse.
I mean, in the mid-'90s, there was nothing more fun than tricking people into seeing that image.
But nowadays, it's like, oh, you haven't seen Goatse? Have you been living under a rock?
Remember
That's like saying, you've never seen the American flag? What's wrong with you?
Remember that thing of the day we did where that one guy showed people who had never seen it and then took pictures of their faces the moment they realized what it was?
There is a Flickr group or something of pictures of people seeing Goatse for the first time.
The best was Ron Jeremy because his face is like, what the fuck is that?
And he's Ron Jeremy.
And then his second face, he's looking at it more closely and has this look of just utter disgust.
Yeah. All right. So we go in and we try to wheel and deal this guy to make the Goatse shirt. And he seems, after all the employees in the store are, having a fun time and we're having a fun time, they didn't really seem apprehensive about making it. They're like, yeah, we'll make it for you. And then we're like, all right, we want you to write the First Amendment on it. And they're like, yeah, we can do that. And we're like, oh, shit, this is awesome. And eventually, they had a printer there which printed out some sort of T-shirt screening stuff, and they had some sort of machine, and they got a T-shirt and plain white shirt, and they went, tss, and there you know it. There's the shirt.
Really well done.
Very well done. I mean, it was a picture of Goatse with the words "The First Amendment" on it. Perfect. It looked like a T-shirt you bought in the store. It was so great. And then our friend had to deal with them on the price of the shirt.
Now, Pete pointed out later, and he wished he'd realized this earlier, that he was in a very high position in terms of the debate over the price, because quite simply, no one else in the world would have bought that shirt.
And it was already made.
So basically, he could have said $5 or I'm not taking it, and then walked away, and they would have been stuck with this shirt.
They probably would have just thrown it out. That shirt probably cost them less than $5.
Maybe.
They don't care, But anyway, no, but I think he eventually paid like $30 for it.
Yeah, I think it was worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. And, it's sort of like, we put the guy through a bunch of trouble. We made him look at Goatse.
Well, what about when...
It's okay if we get ripped off on a T-shirt.
I think my favorite part is when you said something to him like, yeah, it's not as bad as like Lemon Party or all that other stuff.
And then he wanted to look it up. He wanted to look up Lemon Party and Tub Girl because I mentioned.
I think we tainted them.
We did indeed taint them.
You know what would have been the best? If after this was all done, we'd called the police because they were breaking the law otherwise.
That would have been hilarious. You should have been like, give us this T-shirt for free or we're calling the cops on your bootlegging operation.
You know what? If they're next year, I think we'll have some words with them.
Yeah.
So anyway, the moral of the story here is that if you go to the link to the discussion from this post about this show right now, in the forum are all the pictures of this shirt.
It's 2 pictures of the shirt.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, no. I think we can only do 1 link from the post to the forum. And there's going to be 2 forum things, one for this story and one for the other story.
Huh.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? I'll link to him somehow.
Just link to him in the post instead of with the forum discussion.
There will be
thing.
an obvious link.
Yes. All right.
Anyway, Now, this emboldened us.
Yeah, so we realized, wow, there is potential here in these things on the boardwalk to create amusement for us, because these things are designed to amuse idiots who just like to buy crap. So we need a lot more, I don't know, we need different things to bring us amusement. And places and things that previously brought us no joy and, in fact, often pain, where now could be repurposed to bring us hours upon hours of entertainment and joy. So we just had to find more ways to utilize things on this boardwalk to make them entertaining, to create good, to make lemonade from lemons.
If life gives you shit, what do you make?
Shit pie.
Yeah, anyway. Now, I noticed just now, as I'm thinking about it, that we used Pete more than anything to accomplish all of this.
Yes.
Because Pete is pivotal in the second thing we did. Now, last year, Pete had ordered a caramel funnel cake, which defeated him.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be you just got a funnel cake. Nowadays, you can get deep fried Oreos, which is Oreo in funnel cake. It's really good. You can get, funnel cakes with powdered sugar on them, funnel cakes with caramel.
Now, there's one place
cinnamon
in particular
apple funnel cakes
that has pretty much anything in the world deep fried. I mean, they have every candy bar, apples. They'll just deep fry anything they've got.
Yeah, they'll do anything you want. They'll put it in funnel cake batter, deep fry it, and serve it up to you.
So, Pete has always been thinking, because he'd always order like the craziest thing, like the cheese fry pizza or the caramel funnel cake.
He has a history of eating weird things. I remember there was a place called Pita Pit where you could get any.
Oh God!
Where you could get any pita you wanted, and he said that it was impossible to make a bad pita from the Pita Pit menu. And I challenged him to this, and I concocted from the Pita Pit menu perhaps the worst combination of pita you could get. I mean, it was pretty much like every kind of nasty sauce and all the seafood combination, and it was crazy. And he ate it. So, of course, this was his department to do crazy things with deep frying.
So, he walks over to this place where they deep fry a whole bunch of stuff, and he asks, if I bring something to you, will you deep fry it?
And they said yes.
And he said, are you serious? And he said, if you pay, we will deep fry it.
Mm-hmm.
He then walked...
I'm sure there are many health code violations with you bringing food to a restaurant for them to cook.
Well, considering that I don't think anyone in Wildwood wears gloves. Most of them are Europeans making barely minimum wage.
And, of course, I'm not too worried because it is deep frying. Anything that goes in there is dead.
So then he goes immediately to the next door pizzeria, buys a slice of cheese pizza, and says to the man...
It was a pepperoni pizza.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, God. I wasn't paying attention.
No, you weren't.
And then he says to the guy, I am going to go have this deep fried.
And we took pictures of, like, him shaking hands with the pizza guy.
Yes, you definitely want to look at the forum post about this because we have an entire photo archive courtesy of James.
Yep. And you just look at all the pictures in sequence, and it kind of tells the story for you, you know?
So then he takes it back over to the deep fry place. And there's a little bit of debate, and the people are like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, bring it on.
And he was like, you know, we had to confirm that, yes, they would do this, and how much would it cost, you know? And I think they said $4 in the end.
Yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah, $4. That's like free.
So then they cut it up, and they deep fry it in powdered sugar and funnel cake batter.
They had to cut the pizza up because they couldn't get batter on the whole thing at once because it was a pretty big slice, you know? That's what you get on the shore. But yeah, they cut up, and we had like 3 or 4 pieces of deep fried pizza. Slice of pizza covered in what is essentially funnel cake and powdered sugar.
Now, they are laughing hysterically the entire time.
Everyone is laughing hysterically. The employees are laughing hysterically. It's a good time was had by all.
So Pete takes it back over to the guy who sold him the pizza to show that he wasn't bullshitting. He was not a shit talker. Here it was, the deep fried pizza.
Yep.
He shook the guy's hand. The guy was like, you're going to die.
And then we went back to the deep fry place to sit down and eat it.
Now, what follows can be described, but is best seen in the pictures.
Yes.
Because each one of us, starting with Pete, would take a piece, eat it, and then there is the reaction shot to the flavor of this item that we have made.
The only thing I can tell you is something that everyone else seemed to agree on. It tastes like a sugary Hot Pocket.
Surprisingly, yes, it tasted exactly like one of those Hot Pockets that you could buy for like middle school lunch.
Only sugary.
Well, because we put powdered sugar on it.
Well, also the funnel cake itself
true.
is the sugary batter. If it was a different batter, it would have been a Hot Pocket.
Now, in retrospect, it was not the best piece of pizza to begin with.
No, it really wasn't.
And we probably could have done better. But the pictures of Pete eating it are some of the funniest things I've seen in a long time.
Because the pictures of everyone eating it are hilarious.
I mean, for Pete, there's a picture of him holding the slice up, like about to take a bite out of it. Then there's a picture of him looking down, like laughing, but not able to quite deal with what is in his mouth. Then there's a picture of him looking far more defeated as he tastes the full flavor of this item. I look like I'm about to vomit. I have this look of like, what the,
If you ever go somewhere that has a deep fryer and funnel cake batter, and they're looking like there's cool employees there, try to get them to deep fry weird shit.
Yeah, because
it's worth it.
They probably will do it.
It's a lot of fun, and you know their jobs are boring and kind of unexciting. And if it'll be exciting for you and exciting for them, and it just makes the world a better place.
Now, the funniest and scariest part of this whole thing is that we as a group ate the entire goddamn thing.
There were a lot of us. I think that we had a small bit left over that we gave to the employees.
While we as a group ate most of it, Pete ate more than he should have.
He did indeed.
He ate an entire piece all the way through, and he had parts of all the other pieces.
Yeah. I had like 2 bites.
Now, for the rest of the night, about an hour later, Pete turns to me and says something like, my stomach has decided that what we just did was not the best idea.
And I'm like, no, what you did was not the best idea. I didn't eat enough of it to make it bad.
I ate 2 bites of it, and my stomach was a little grumbly. My stomach said, what the fuck did you just put in me? Good God. Goddamn.
Goddamn motherfucking
damn.
Fried funnel cake on a pizza.
There's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Funnel cake on a pizza. Fope.
I can't describe this any better. You really need to go see these pictures. They are hilarious.
Absolutely fantastic.
Now, the moral of the story, because we're drawing this Thursday episode to a close, the last episode where Rim will not have a pop filter. You won't have to put up with my popping peas all over the podcast anymore.
Penis.
You know, I really, honestly did not expect you, Scott Rubin, to say the word penis.
Really?
I mean, of all the times you've said that word, this was not the moment, the moment when we're saying words that begin with the letter P, that you would in fact say the word penis.
Really?
Nah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But the moral of this story is that anytime you are bored, anytime you're in a place either with people you find uninteresting or a place that you don't think can entertain you, I submit that you are wrong and that there is no place in the world other than solitary. You know what? No. There is no place on this earth where you cannot entertain yourself in some way by either hacking or pleasuring yourself.
Yeah, seriously, if I was in solitary in a prison, I would just whack it for days. Who's going to stop me?
Yeah, there's a story about that we're not going to tell because it could get both of us in trouble.
Oh, right.
Right.
Lol.
Suffice to say, hacking does not apply to computers and computers alone. Hacking applies to the world. You can be a hacker if you do anything awesome.
Well, anything awesome that is hacking.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can do awesome things that are not hacking, such as heroic deeds. And,
Now, if you hack in order to do a heroic deed, plus.
Oh, man, a heroic hacking is the most awesome thing you can possibly do. I don't think you can possibly be more awesome than hacking heroically. All right, that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else. Once again, to all of our new listeners out there, I will have a pop filter next week. Welcome to Geeknights. Join the forums. Join the Frapper. Go to the website. You'll find links to everything we talk about.
And goddamn, do not eat fucking deep fried pizza. Oh my god.
And that was Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcasts, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geeknights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geeknights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.